This is my Genshin Impact early review. So let's get to it. The first thing I want to mention, or I need to mention, is that, you know, I play and record on my mobile device, my phone, and as such, the game may not run as smooth in the video, mainly because of I'm recording, which also too causes my phone to get hot. And in order to keep external or ambient noise to a minimum or as low as possible, I usually turn off all the air conditioning so the air blowing doesn't get caught on camera. So my phone tends to get really hot. So I just wanted to put that out there. I've been starting to catch this on my videos. So this way, if the game doesn't seem to be running fluid, it's not an accurate representation of how the game will play when I'm not recording and properly cooling my device during gameplay. All right, now that we made it past that, the first thing I want to talk about is the in-depth itemization of the game. In-depth itemization and customization in the game. You know, you have your heroes that you can play with, and there's just a lot of stuff going on. First, let's start with the main menu. Here you got your shops. So you can come here and you can always, you know, make your in-game purchases and whatnot. And then you've got your party setup.
I feel like running.
Here you can customize, like, as you collect characters, you can, excuse me, you can choose who will be, swallow some of my own saliva there. Goodness. It's like there's always some kind of technicality I'm running into when I'm trying to record these videos. All right. As you collect characters and heroes, you can choose who will be in your party when you go out into the open world. You have additional slots to have an encounter situation. Oh, party too. That's what this is. Got it. So you have different layouts up to, like, I'm not sure how many parties you can have. It looks like 4 parties. You can even give, I guess, the party a name. So you have that level of customization. Let's come back. You know, you have your friend system. When I click, it actually does it. You also, too, have achievements. There's multiple categories of achievements, which achievements, multiple achievements in each category. So for people who like to do that, you'll have plenty to do there. Here are your characters. You can see the characters that you have. You can bring up the details for each of your characters. This information could be accessed in multiple ways. Let's see here. I guess we got a little bit of external noise coming here. And then you got your character, which is for basically the information for whatever character you currently have on the field playing with. And I guess just a note here. From my experience of what I experienced in the game, you can only have one hero on the field at a time. You can't have all 4 of the heroes that you've designated to be in your party to appear on the field at the same time. You have your, I guess we got some more external noise. It's LA, folks. It's LA. So you have your inventory. Here you can see all the weapons and whatnot that you've acquired, any artifacts you've acquired, other things that you collect during your game, during your play with the game, or during your stay or time with the game. You have quests, so you can see what quests you have running. They've broken it up to categories. And then you have the map, which allows you to see how much of the open world you've uncovered, where you're going, so you can plan. You can even set waypoints. You have any events that may be happening? So far, I haven't encountered any world events. Here's like the trial run for certain heroes, so you could see what you have the potential to acquire. You have the Adventurer Handbook. Man, I'm pressing it. I'm not quite sure what exactly its purpose is, but essentially it allows you to keep track of, so far what I've been able to gather, even as I speak now, it seems to be able to allow you to keep track of enemies and things you've, like any achievements you made. I won't say achievements, but like progress as far as like your adventure rank and whatnot. I want to say adventure rank, but just your adventure progress, really. And then you could get awards. You have wish, which is basically where you go to make your hero wishes. But basically, this is how the system you will use to acquire more heroes. Then you have access to the community. So that's not really a concern right now. And then you have feedback. I don't want to do that now.
Hey, there's something strange over there.
Safety
Come on,
check.
let's take a look.
I don't think there was anything. Nothing personal there. All right, cool. And let's see here. You know, and then you could like access some of the same things up here. This is where you access the events by up there. You can access the wish up here as well. You can get access to, I believe, what is this? The adventurer's handbook, your inventory, and your character. Now, coming back, settling on the character, you could go ahead and look at the details of their attributes, so you can see like what their base stats are. You can see what their extended stats are, so you could spend time trying to increase or tweak these as you wish. You can level up your character. You can, right now, I'm assuming this is like, it says dressing room, but like cosmetics, but you could put wings. So far you have the gliders or wings you can put on your character to help your character glide. So you can do customizations there. Those are the attributes. Here you could change your weapons. You could switch, of course. You can enhance, of course. I haven't made any real big efforts of enhancing anything or forging or crafting anything, mainly because it's so new in the game. You might get a whole bunch of really good stuff for free. Why spend those resources crafting and enhancing things early on that you might feel like you could have put towards something that you have acquired that was better? Here are the artifacts, same thing. Same, everything I just described with how to handle weapons. I would handle artifacts the same way. You could switch out your artifacts, you could enhance them, so on. Yada, yada, yada. Craft them, I believe. Constellations, this is kind of like a person's skill tree. You unlock it as your character grows in levels, I believe. And then you can enhance it or level them up. You also too probably have to become ascended in order to probably keep leveling up. I'm not sure, since I haven't really delved into that. But that assumption is based off of something I will highlight later, just in a few more moments. Here are the person's actual skills. This is what you see when you're in combat, which you can, press to make your character do things when in combat. Character must be character ascension phase 2 to level up. That's where I get the idea for ascending comes from. And that also too, here's the profile for the character. And again, I'll be touching on the whole ascension thing in a few moments. Here's the profile of the character. You can see the story and so on. You can hear them. You can see, I guess you have to unlock it as or friendship level. So you have to go through the friendship system. Here you can see.
Morning. Want to go on a jog?
Say things.
Agreed. Getting rest is essential. Wow, this breeze, so refreshing.
And now I'm going to select a character that's actually at max level. And then when I go to their attributes, you'll see where it says ascend down at the bottom right. It requires adventure rank 15. So as you saw when I was looking at some of the skills, you had to be ascended. In order to ascend, you have to go increase your adventure rank. That's where the adventure handbook kind of comes into play. So you can kind of see what adventures or what like adventure tasks you have that are out there that you could do. Also too, your adventure rank, you can see that here where it says adventure rank right there, 9. Then you could come over here, world level, adventure rank, ascension quest, and so on.
I feel like running.
So come back to the profile of the character. So in order, so you know, that's how, just this is all giving you an idea of just how in depth the itemization and customization of this game. And so you can ascend, and that way you can increase your talents that require you to be ascended. And then I'm assuming that same thing will be present for the constellations. So that basically gives you a rundown of the itemization and customization in this game. It's very in-depth. So for the people who like RPGs, mainly for the capacity for all the little dials and knobs they could use to try to tweak and adjust things, or just to be collecting stuff, or just to have things to do or try to accomplish, this game has it all here. Now what I want to talk about is the production quality of this game. And you know, I'm trying to think about how I want to group it, but I guess production quality, I'll leave it at that for right now. And then talk about the production quality, we have to talk about the open world. We're going to talk about some of the, you know,
come on, let's take a
graphical, visual, and audio aspects. We'll talk about some of the gameplay mechanics. We're going to talk about the open world. We're going to talk about the discovery. So let's go ahead and get that started. Oh, I got to stop. I'm trying my best not to handle my phone so much because it makes so much noise. I just forgot to do that. So let's get moving. Here as a character, you can see the, this is the whole world. This is not the whole world map, but this is what I've uncovered. And what I really like about the aspect of the production quality when it comes to the open world is that it's really truly expansive. It's your real true implementation of open world. You know, that's one aspect that a lot of these action RPG games on mobile are missing. They don't really feel like an open world. They just feel like a little enclosed sandbox for you to run on and play in. And then when you want to go to the next area or travel or traverse, you have to encounter a loading screen to open the next sandbox. And then when you get to the end or the edge of that sandbox, it just repeats the process of putting a loading screen there, and then you go into the next sandbox. Well, this game truly feels like an open world environment because you just keep running, you just keep traversing, and the world will keep getting loaded on the fly. So I'm just going to exit out of here. So I'm going to just follow this road just to the best of my capabilities. As soon as I could get to it. And just even talking about the open world, you know, there are little things for you to discover, try to figure out how to acquire it, how to access it. Also too, and when it comes to traversing the open world, the implementation is very good. As you can see, there's a little bit of physics as you go through the world. You can collect, there are little items you could collect to help you traverse the open world. I'm currently collecting these things because I know what they are. And apparently there may be one more. And when you collect 3 of these, it creates an up current to where you can use your glider to fly. And now this is probably how I'm going to use it to access this treasure. So, you know, your ability to traverse, and then also too, it's part of the open world in terms of discovery, but that falls into another category I'm going to try to isolate later. You know, just the discovery of the open world. You know, this game has put it all there. So let's just try to get going. I'm going to try to get to the main road if I can. Another cool aspect about this game in terms of traversing is your ability to climb. Anything that's vertical in this game can practically be climbed. if it has to be significantly or substantially vertical, or enough, width or girth to it, so this way it can be climbed. You can't climb some little pole, like very skinny little pole. That's so far I've tried, and you can't do that. But I could climb that tree, as you saw. You could pretty much run up to any rock and climb. The only thing is that, like with the climbing and even with the gliding, you have a little stamina bar, and if you run out of stamina, you will just let go. You will just fall. So if you can even swim as well. You can't swim underwater, but if you go swimming, you will get the same stamina bar. I'll try to highlight that there. Just glide. You're probably going to regret going this low. And see, that's another thing about this open world. I mean, not only is it horizontally expansive, it's also too vertically expansive. You can spend as much time, well, not as much time, but you can spend a good portion of time just trying to figure out how to get up and down to places. See, there goes a little stamina bar. I'm going to fall into the water. I'm just gliding and gliding. And when you run out, you just fall. And it's the same thing. Since I have no more stamina to swim, So that's how the climbing and gliding and swimming works. You have to, adhere to your stamina. It put me back up top, which is great. I want to get back to the main road. And so for me, this whole, the true sense of an open world environment and expansiveness, and as far as its capacity for you to traverse it, to be able to explore it, to be able to discover it. This is what a lot of action RPGs or role-playing games on the mobile devices have been lacking, especially action RPGs. They focus a lot on the action to make that either really over the top or adrenaline pumping. But then once you start having to do things outside of the combat, like, okay, you got to start doing things in the game. It's like the part of the game that you would like to just be leisure with, it either doesn't really exist, or it's not as developed as their action or their combat. And so you just find yourself either doing something like some type of combat driven thing over and over again. And it's like, it starts becoming monotonous really quickly. Also, too, part of the production quality, I think when I started this, it was like either twilight or early morning or late evening. And now, as you can see, the sun is either beginning to rise or the set. You can see like the shadow quality. You can see the way the light is being rendered on the environment. Yep, it's turning to day. This game has day and nighttime features. It's all, it's all like pretty cool rendered stuff. It's like the level or the level of quality in the game has reached what you could expect to find on a PC platform. I mean, it hasn't happened yet, but there's even like, clouds. Like there's a weather system. Like some days it'll be raining, some days it'll be cloudy. Even as you're going through the world, you'll see like clouds, go over you, and it'll render over your character and the rest of the environment. The production quality in this game is really, really good. And I guess in talking about the production quality, I guess see, there we go. That's right there. You can see it. That's clouds passing over us right now. cloud, you can see it got a little bit lighter. The cloud is past. You can see it as it goes over the grass, and the grass becomes lighter. You know, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. That was a little bit of a feature, I guess. On a side note, what the character was doing is a little bit of a feature there. I'll be getting to in a moment. But you know, when it also to talk about the discovery, you know, there are lots of like little indicators on the map, and for you to explore and try to figure out how to reach and how to get to. And just like with that chest you saw me do earlier, there's lots of little discovery and nooks and crannies like that throughout the game, which is also another thing that's been missing in a lot of these action RPG games, is that there's nothing really there to discover. It seems like the capacity for discovery and exploration was like an afterthought. You know, even on again, this is PC quality of production, and in their for their game, in their open world environment in the game, and just in the content of the game, because there's the way that the discovery and the ability to explore has been put in is like that, like what I've been experiencing on PC games for years. You know, all the little things, like even in a first-person shooter back in the day, trying to figure out what's behind this wall, behind this door, this crate, or something, or what's, you know, figuring all those things out. That was even in first-person shooters. They just took it to the nth degree when it came to open world. I mean, the best example of that would probably be World of Warcraft. So all this stuff lends to the production quality of the game. All the things charge the quality of detail, the gameplay mechanics, the rendering of how the light is. You know, like a lot of games, they will just put textures on things to make it look like whatever you're looking at is in the daytime. Where in this game, you know, they have the textures, but they actually have shaders and lighting. You know, pixel shaders. You know, and lighting techniques to actually render the environment, to have light reflecting off of it. Like this rocky, if you look at it, you can see as I move the camera, the way the light reflects off that rock changes. And this is kind of throughout the game. It's not just in these rocks. If you go into a building and there's a light source in the building or in the room, the walls and the doors and whatever the light is hitting will reflect the same way. That's PC level of quality of rendering. And they do it really, really well. So this basically wraps up everything I wanted to talk about as far as production quality. I mean, you'll still be able to witness it as I, you know, go on and talk about other things. But the production quality of this game, it's open, which entails its open world, your ability to traverse the open world. Vertically as well as horizontally, your ability to explore the open world, the nooks and crannies for you to discover. This is all top-notch stuff and all very, very true to what you've experienced in RPG games on consoles and on PC. Now, I guess I wanted to talk about its offerings. That was my next category. But a lot of these things, they blend together. You know, when it comes to the offerings in this game, you know, I've touched on it when talking about the itemization and customization. I touched on it when talking about the open world. But this game has a lot to offer. There's lots of, you know, cool things. Like, for instance, you could come in here. You can actually, you know, set the time and day in game. Or I guess time of day. I said time in day, but really just the time in game. You know, there's just lots of offerings in that way. I mean, the game has, as far as its system, you could say, goes, or system-based aspects, you have a lot of control over the game. Graphics, the audio, messages. What I really like is this overall volume setting. Because after you spend your time customizing the individual, like let's say the isolated aspects of the volume, it's just always great to have an overall volume setting. This way you can leave all your tweaked settings for the isolated parts of the game's audio as they are, and just turn the thing all the way down or all the way up. You know, you have your messages, language, account. You know, there's a lot of control over the game. There's just a lot of fine tuning to the game. I touched on all offerings when I was showing all the itemization, customization. I touched on the offerings when I was talking about the open world. You can also too set the birthday for your character. You can only do it once though. So I want to emphasize that, you know, so this way it'll keep track of, you could use it to set it for when you start playing if you want. You could just set it to something arbitrary or something realistic. It doesn't matter. You can also too customize change your avatar. You can change your name card. You know, you can change, your actual nickname. You can add a signature, which I don't think I've done. You know, I'm not too sure how that would work. You know, I guess, well, I'm exploring this at the same time as you are. If I just type that in, I just can't. It doesn't do anything special with it. I guess I could put like a little statement or phrase in there or something. You know, in terms of its combat, there's a lot for you to do in this combat, which I'll be talking in the next category of its offerings. I mean, after offerings. See, where am I? I want to get to the city.
For the gliding champion
so there's a lot, like, you know, as far as, again, the things for you to collect, for you to try to tweak, for you to try to build, the heroes, acquiring. You know, if you're an RPG player, as far as its offerings, you're going to find just about everything you would find in like a PC MMORPG or role-playing game or a console RPG game. And I guess, in talking about its offerings, I guess this works out because I'm entering the city. And when you come into the city, you know, you have your blacksmith here, so you can come here to forge things.
Second-rate items at Wagner's.
I'd like something made, so you can come here and you can craft. There are other vendors or other shops for you to go to interact with and have things done. Here's the Adventurers Guild.
Ad Astra Abyss.
I've already interacted with this already. But basically, you can claim rewards. You can also get these rewards from the Adventurer's Handbook. You can also, too, come over up here. And I'm not too sure what Majori...
Doesn't that shop look interesting?
I'm not quite sure what Majori does, but you can come in here, Majori. And by the way, Majori is the name of a character in Guild Wars 2.
Yep.
We're getting back to this game.
What did I tell you? Is there anything that catches your eye? No need. I forgot to... I've been trying...
There's a lot of dialogue. Another side note, there's a lot of dialogue here.
It's like a seal or emblem that the animal... More to the point. Any animal...
So you can see, you could get like things to help customize. It looks like enhancement stones of some kind. I haven't really explored this yet because I'm still so new to the game.
Animo sigils appear all over Mondstadt. If you find...
Absolutely! What could be more beautiful?
Okay, it's actually more... Obviously, the reason I need animo sigils is because they have properties that other materials cannot provide.
But it's working!
It's always some kind of dialogue.
Soon. Please also...
Up here, you could come and you could get food cooked. Or you could cook food. You can also too cook food in the open world. You just there'll be sometimes you'll run across some type of, I want to say pyre. Pyre is probably not the right word, but like a little camping or fire pit, and you could, with like, you know, the things to roast an animal on or something you hunted, and then you can always go up there and you can cook food. Gives you like stats and whatnot. You got this over here. Buy supplies. And then you got alchemy.
Ancient alchemy truly is
So, you know, there's just essentially everything that you would want out of an RPG game. This game offers it to you.
fresh fruit, only at Quinn's Fruit.
And now what I will focus on next is the actual combat. I've tried to record this video multiple times, and the last time I encountered some boss, and the boss pretty much wiped out my team. So what I have to do is revive them, so this way I can show you just some combat. But in the process of doing that, I will continue to highlight just the expansiveness of this open world. I just ran from someplace out in the world to a town, and now back out of the town, back into the open world, and I have yet to encounter a loading screen. You just keep traversing, you can keep exploring, you can keep discovering. This is the experience that you want out of an RPG. This is the experience that you're used to when you're playing AAA titles on PC or console. And I go back to World of Warcraft and even Guild Wars 2. Well, World of Warcraft mainly. World of Warcraft was probably the best experience I had with just constantly roaming in the world, just constantly loading on the rest of the world, loading on the fly. You just keep going. This is the experience you want out of an RPG. And for me, I think this is what really sets Genshin Impact apart from the rest of the RPG games on the market. Like, you know, and it's this whole the whole exploration of the open world map and the discovery. I think I mentioned that earlier, but that's, you know, I keep coming back to, because to me that's my main interest draw to even playing this game right now, is how expansive this open world is in terms of for me to be able to traverse it and to explore and discover in it. All right. I appreciate your patience. We've made it to some place where I can revive my heroes. Now, when I approach this thing, this is a statue of the 7. And when you approach it, you can recover your hero's health. And you can also to level it up to gain access to more, to uncover more of the map and things of that nature. You get rewards when you do that. So as you can see, my heroes, they gain, you know, they've been revived and are starting to recover their health. You can actually come to the statue of the 7, and you can actually get the statue's blessing, which allows you to, if you tap on your hero while you're here, you get to recover their health. Again, if you come back, you can choose to do the other option, and you can, you know, offer whatever items the statue requires. When you do that, it increases, you know, it says max stamina. I'm not sure what stamina, if it's for my heroes, for the statue or whatnot, but it increases it, and sometimes you can collect rewards when you do that. So now that I've got my heroes revived, I'm trying to see if I can't get into some type of combat. And that will be my next thing I want to talk about, is the combat in this game. Now, the combat in this game, I will also, too, in this category, talk about how the game feels. The game feels like, the combat in this game feels like something from Kingdom Hearts, or from Zelda, or from some type of Nintendo Wii game, or Nintendo 64 game, in terms of RPG elements. And as soon as I find something to fight, I'll show you what I mean. What's that, firefly? What's that, firefly? I'm not running across any enemies. I'm not sure if this is a low-level zone or what. But there's usually something I would run across for me to get in combat with. I mean, I killed some mobs out here earlier, but I thought they would maybe respawn or something. Well, since I can't find any mobs to fight in the open world at this time, I have to go to a different zone. I mean, I don't want to spend too much time looking for mobs. But again, I just traversed all of that without any loading. I'm going to try to zone to some place that should have some mobs. I should be able to find something to get in combat with over here. Yep, there's some mobs up here. Now this is early on in the game. My characters, they're only like level 18, so I haven't really ascended them or anything. So this is an accurate representation of what you'll be experiencing in game should you decide to start playing. But basically, you would run into enemies. I'm pretty sure there's some more over here. I'm going to try and group up some so I could fight. But you know, depending on the characters you use, they have different abilities. For her, one of the things that she can do, she can put down this little doll and they'll like attack it. And then she will explode. This character can also aim. Like if you hold the attack button down, she'll go into an aiming mode. You can also put her in aiming mode to where she'll stay like this until you come out or until you get attacked or something. So you could just sit there and shoot. Each one of them has like their own little unique ability and special abilities. See if I can't find anyone else to fight. You know, I was in an area of this open world where there just seemed like there was a bunch of enemies. But now I'm having trouble trying to find some. Come down here. She could put up this little shield where, you know, oh, I forgot. You can also attack when you're gliding if you're in the air. So basically she could, but that's what I just did there without thinking about it. But you know, she puts this shield where every time she attacks, she heals the rest of the team. This guy, he can put out a little air thing like that. And you can attack. Here's one of these like food we could cook. I tried to get into some more combat, and have to acknowledge or admit that I failed to watch how much recording was done, and so the recording ended while I was still talking. But I used that opportunity of having to stop to set up the next combat situation, as well as prepare to showcase some other abilities. Alright, so let's keep it going. Take a look at the mini-map. I set up a waypoint. You can set waypoints in this game, so that's pretty cool. I think I'm headed the right way. This is the right way. I mean, I set up some waypoints, or I activated waypoints earlier, but they're not visible on the map. In this game, you can set your own waypoint. You just press somewhere and you could just do that. A little icon if you want, then you can remove it. I'm headed in the right direction to the waypoint I set up earlier, to where there is some combat right over there. So I'm going to go do that now. I think I may have costed more time by doubling back to that waypoint to start. I thought it would be closer, but I was wrong. Oh well, at least I gift-gabbed it. So let's keep it moving. I want to try to showcase some more of the combat. This is one of the starting characters you start with. You get to, when the game starts, you have to choose between two twins, and the twin you choose will be the twin you play with when the game starts. Now, even though you pick a twin, you know, there might be certain aspects of the story that will change, but for the most part, the story will progress, at least to the point to which I've played it the same way. Like, even though I picked the male twin, the events that happened after I picked the male twin will occur for the female twin should you pick her. And the reason why I know this is because I tried to see if I can't just restart on the same server, and I couldn't. So what I ended up doing was I ended up creating a new account on the European server. And when I did that, I was able to choose a different path. Like the game, when you go to different server, it starts over. It doesn't remember any progress from any other servers. So I started over and I chose the female twin, and what happened after I chose the female twin was exactly the same when I chose the male twin on the American server. So that's how I know that. I am progressing towards my waypoint for more combat, to show you some more cool stuff. I appreciate your patience. If I've said that already, I appreciate it some more. Let's use the gliding feature? My waypoint should be showing up on this map. There it is. I will be approaching them. Let's try to come down with an aerial attack. So now that we've got some more enemies here for us to fight, I want to show like how it is that you can play, or the potential, at least when you begin to play the game. And if you notice, you might notice some shiny little icons next to the characters. Those shiny little icons are like their special abilities, or one of their special abilities. Also, too, as you can see, the cloud that was raining over some of the enemies. There's one of the biggest things to the combat in this game is the elemental combination of elements. And when elements combine, they have different effects which could increase damage. I'm going to try to showcase all of that here. So first, what I'm going to do is wait for a cloud to come. Now that we have that, let's bring in some lightning, which will conduct all those enemies. Then you could quickly bring in some fire, which will vaporize those enemies. And then you can quickly try to bring in some wind to combine. And then it'll do other combined attacks. And then when you bring in her, she'll do that, which does some other combined elements. And that's kind of like a big aspect to the gameplay in Genshin Impact, is being able to just switch in or tag in your heroes, but you have to build up their elemental energy in order to have those attacks ready. And when my recording abruptly stopped, I took that time to build that up so I could show that to you. And that's essentially the combat in this game. I mean, of course, it'll become more, let's say, what's the word? Robust. The combat will become more robust as your heroes become stronger, or they become more level or higher in level, and you begin to gain access to different aspects of their constellation and unlock more of their talents. But that's, essentially the combat in this game. And this is pretty much going to conclude my review of Genshin Impact. What I gotta say is that, this game is definitely worth, let me start covering my mouth. This game is definitely worth any gamer trying out. I mean, this game is just very well done. It's exceptionally well done. I mean, the fact that this game, if you go to their Wikipedia page and look up Genshin Impact, as a matter of fact, well, I guess I could just, do that now. If I just come here, if you just type in, let's say, Genshin Impact. If I just do that, it should bring up a page. Here we go, Genshin Impact on Wikipedia. Even there, that showed it. I guess I should just go back. This game, the platforms that it's released on is on PlayStation 4, Microsoft Windows, iOS, Android, and Nintendo Switch. I mean, this is an exceptionally well done game. It's being released on multiple platforms, console as well as PC. And I know some of the games have achieved that feat, but this game, it's just top notch. This game has raised the bar as to what you could expect from a mobile game. It has raised the bar. I mean, honestly, it's the best in terms of production quality, as well as the best in terms of offerings for an RPG player on a mobile platform. And You know, if you're a gamer, if you're a person who likes RPG games, you know, you just are honestly, you just owe it to yourself just to try the game. And in that recommendation, the way I recommend you try it is through a mobile platform, because on mobile, you can download the game, you can install the game, you can even play the game all at no cost. You don't have to spend any money up front. You can play it, you know, indefinitely on mobile without spending any money, and that'll give you plenty of time to spend, they'll give you plenty of time to take as much time to figure out if this is something that you like, or if something you might consider wanting to play long term. Then at that point, if you prefer to play it on a console or PC, you could choose to just pick up a copy from the store or online and just, you know, purchase it then. Of course, if your preferred platform is mobile, you could choose to start, you know, spending real world money in game to maybe pick up some things to help make your playtime a little bit more convenient. But again, try it out on mobile where it's completely free to, again, download, install, and play, and try and see if you like it. It's definitely worth your time. It is definitely a truly good experience. I think it may have made it in the edit before it stopped, but this game, the way this game is presented, it's very much presented like it's, you know, like a Kingdom Hearts or, a Zelda game, or some type of, you know, Nintendo Wii Mario RPG game, as far as how it's presented to you in terms of its combat and gameplay, as far as the way that the game unfolds, you know, how it's, you know, let's say it's, you say storyboarding or it's storytelling and everything. It's very much like watching an anime movie such as like Princess Mononoke, like unfold before your eyes, or like a Pixar animated movie unfolding before your eyes. Like some of the animation and the, you know, like the animation and the motion capture, it's so fluid, and they capture such nuance and like, let's say, like a human emotive behavior, that it's just, you're just like, wow. You know what I'm saying? Like, am I watching, is this a game? You know, or is this a movie? And also too, it's done so seamlessly. Like, that was one of the first things I noticed in this game, was I couldn't distinguish when the cutscene was over and when it was entering back into a part where I had control over the characters. It was that seamless in its, you know, in its execution. And that's how beautifully, or how well done of a job is that they've done with this game, is that the graphics that they render for cutscenes is the same graphics, same quality of graphics that you see when you're playing. That there is that's the reason why it's so seamless. The quality is just, is through the roof. You know, it's like I said it before in some other views, the reason why I even play video games is to experience where they're taking, let's say, the game in this iteration, or in this new release, or like whatever release of a game it is. Where are you taking gaming? That's why I'm playing. I'm there for the experience, the audio, the visual, you know, the gameplay. I'm there for the experience, how I interact, how am I immersed in it. You know, that's why I play games. That's why I'm into movies. And this game has satisfied, you know, that desire for that breathtaking experience, for that experience to be brought in to show me something new, to immerse me, to captivate me. This game has done that. The combat in this game, I'm pausing so much because I'm thinking while I'm talking, because I'm too busy trying to talk. You know, the combat in this game, it's, you know, it's very fantasy. It's very, it's like a very light-hearted type of combat. It's not anything over the top or adrenaline packed or very brutal and gruesome. And, you know, for some people, they might find that a little bit limiting. Other people might find it right up their alley. For me, you know, I don't mind it. I could appreciate the lighthearted combat, the very fantasy, leisure type of gameplay. It's not a problem for me. I do like the gritty, gruesome combat. You know, God of War 2 is one of my favorite games, and it will always be one of my favorite games, probably my favorite game when it comes to that kind of action, brutal, visceral, you know, combat system. Let's see here. But just because that this game is not like that, it doesn't make it any less. It just makes it different. It makes it a part of it from a different genre, and that's fine. And I think a lot of people who, like I said, who like Kingdom Hearts and like Zelda and liked, you know, maybe not so much Final Fantasy, but just basically people who like Zelda and Kingdom Hearts and, you know, like the whole Mario RPG on Wii and stuff, they're really going to take to this. They're really going to take to the combat and just the overall visual aesthetic of this game. So, a lot of verbiage, a lot of talking, but all in all, what it comes down to is try this game out. Try it out on mobile first to where you don't have to spend any money and see if you like it. I think any gamer and any person who likes RPG games, you owe it to yourself just to try this Genshin Impact. And that's pretty much it for my early review of Genshin Impact. I'm just going to finish out leveling these heroes. Now they're all ready to be ascended. Only thing left for me to do, I guess I could level this guy. I guess I want to be careful with how much resources I spend, because if I'm not going to play a person, I don't want to spend too much leveling them. Let me just come out of here. He's one of the starting characters you get as you play the game. That's a significant amount of experience. But I'll just level him up because there are some situations where you need ice. So I figure it's smart for me to make this investment now into a free character. So this way, if I ever need someone who can do ice, I can just bring him in. Now all my characters are ready for, at this time, are ready to be ascended. I just need to get to adventure rank 15.